Clear tanks are actually quite deceiving. You end up seeing that later on you have black algae which you don't want. Some fish were actually dying. So what you want is to have a clear tank but keeping an eye on the tank. Alright guys, welcome to a brand new video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about why a clear tank is not as good as it seems, and I'm going to be sharing from my experience things that I've seen happen in WhatsApp groups as well, the community that I am in. So stick around and you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get started. So what exactly do I mean that a clear tank is not as it seems? What I actually mean is that clear tanks are actually quite deceiving, because you might have a clear tank and think everything is so amazing. Oh my god, wow, look at my beautiful tank, I can see the fish clearly and all these things. So what you want is to have a clear tank but keeping an eye on the tank. Now, why exactly do I say that? End of last week and beginning of this week, I'm not entirely sure, my tank looked clear, or not so clear, but like it was kind of clear, and I had a plastic wrap over it just to help me not have the water evaporate that fast, to help you with the daily maintenance, because topping up every day I was kind of missing the days of actually topping up. So I had a plastic wrap on top of it. And after a while, when I wanted to, and I actually had a hole on the plastic wrap where I was actually feeding my fish through. So there was actually no need for me to actually check on the water and all that stuff. So I ended up realizing that when I was just checking on my tank, I ended up realizing that, yo, this water is warm. Like warm, like when you mix cold water and hot water together and it gets like that nice warm, like that's how the water was, right? And I realized some fish were actually dying, right? So, and everything looked fine from the outside, but because the tank was clear, so I thought everything was perfect, everything was fine. And there are cases where people have their tanks, all of a sudden algae starts growing. Like on my tank, algae was actually growing, right? So over time, algae is growing, you think your tank is nice, beautiful, it's clear, and you don't pay attention to the algae that's growing on the glass and all these things. You end up seeing that later on you have black algae which you don't want to have in your tank at all. There was someone in the group who actually experienced this recently, and I actually asked, how exactly do you avoid this from happening to yourself? And they were like, the best way to avoid this happening is by doing your daily maintenance. Daily maintenance is you're checking up on your fish, you're feeding your fish, you're doing water top-ups and also the test kit, if you have a test kit, and doing all these things. And also doing your weekly maintenance, where you are doing water changes, you're cleaning your glass inside the tank to remove algae and all that stuff, right? And when you have a clear tank, it's so easy to get caught up in a world where you're like, you know what, things are perfect, I don't need to stress about anything and all that. And in my case, for someone who doesn't actually have a test kit, the best thing that I think I should be doing is doing like weekly water changes, or I can do a 90% water change. Not 90%, I mean like a 10% water change on a weekly basis. You don't have to go like all the way down, just to keep the tank looking fresh, especially since I don't have a test kit. But if you have a test kit, that's amazing. You can actually use the test kit to help you out with that kind of stuff. Or if you're someone who watches like MV, right? You see that he he does like little to no maintenances on his tanks, right? So you can watch his videos and see how exactly he sets up his tanks in a way that can actually happen, right? And I watch his videos and I try and like replicate that in my tank by having a lot of plants in there, by having a nice filter and a substrate to help make sure that a nice substrate to make sure that the poop or the fish is actually going down to the bottom of the sand and being reused as nutrients for the plants and all these things. Having a clear tank is not actually bad. What makes it bad is negligence, avoiding to do what you're supposed to be doing, avoiding and procrastinating and saying, oh, you know what, I'll actually feed the fish later, oh, you know what, I'll do the water change next week, oh, you know what, giving all these excuses is what's going to make having a clear tank bad, because you start losing fish. I actually lost about like, I think 4 guppies in here. I know for you big guys who have like big fish and all that, that may seem like it's not, like it's a lot for me. Someone who's actually breeding guppies, someone who's actually breeding mollies, it's something that I find like I really look into, because I want to have as many guppies as I can possibly breed. So yeah, so also if you want to have a clear tank like this, like myself, when I first started, my tanks were not clear at all. So the way I did was like, basically from my experiences, I started off not knowing anything at all, not knowing how to actually put in water into your tank, not knowing about filters, not knowing about pumps and all these things that actually help your water be crystal clear, not knowing about plants and all that stuff, right? So if you want to have a crystal clear tank, like what I did for myself, is what I do is, the first thing, I think that's the most, okay, I think I'll leave that as a bonus for those who actually watch the video till the end. So start off by, you know, making sure your wood, making sure the things that you have in your tank, like the rocks, the sand, everything is washed before you put it in your tank. Make sure that it's washed, so that you don't, later when you start filling up with water, it doesn't mess up the tank, right? And also on top of that, you want to make sure, if you're gonna put wood in your tank, that your wood has been soaked, right? Because wood leaches a lot. Like the piece of wood that I actually have in my tank right now is one that it was leaching the moment I put it in, right? I didn't know about like actually soaking your wood. I didn't know about like wood leaching, tannins and all that stuff. Like my tank got like Coca-Cola kind of black, right? Coffee kind of black, from just leaching tannins and tannins and tannins and tannins. So over time, the tank actually got crystal clear. So I used to have like black water tanks for like a period of time, which was like kind of beautiful, because when the tanks age, they look absolutely beautiful. Like black water tanks, they look absolutely beautiful when they age and you have light and you're able to see the fish. They look absolutely beautiful. So that's another thing, making sure your wood is soaked. And then another thing is a filter. I was using this, it was like a self-made DIY filter at the beginning, because I couldn't afford to actually have a proper filter. I did have one. My cousin actually gave this to me, but it wasn't working properly, so I couldn't like actually use it. So it just sits as a decoration in the house right now. So I made a self-made filter where I put rocks at the bottom in this. I put the rock, and then I put, what is this? I put sponge in here, and then at the top I have like, in this hole, that's where I connect the air stone. So that was helping the tank, like with the poop, was helping with like just keeping the water as well crystal clear, catching all those dust particles, catching all the little things that make the water look like it's not crystal. And on top of that, upgrading from this to a biochemical filter, which I bought, which is secondhand, which I bought from someone from the coast, which made everything, like, it has made the tank actually crystal clear. It catches all the unnecessary things that are that are just going, floating around in your water, making your water not look crystal clear. And also I just did a water change as well. So the filter and doing a water change is the bonus tips for those of you who are still watching this video. So those things, those two, doing regular water changes and having a filter that's absolutely amazing. So looking into the filters as well, I haven't used a lot of filters before. The only filters that I have used is the one that I've made myself, and the one that I made, like, I took the one that I made, I took it, it came with a pump, which is now in the pond, and now I'm using the biochemical filter for my main tank to just have nice water circulation going around the tank, to have that nice clean crystal looking tank. And it's also doing its job, as well as this is a community tank. The fish are quite a lot, so yeah. And also, you don't, like, if you also want to have a crystal clear tank, it's also looking at the number of fish that you have in your tank. You don't want to, like, overpopulate your tank as well. I mean, you can have a crystal looking tank and your tank is overpopulated, but like with guppies poop a lot, honestly. Like in my pond, I will see like bits of poop all over, though I think it's because the filter that I have is not that strong, because it's self-made as well. So that's also another issue. So yeah, if you're gonna have a crystal clear tank, make sure you do what you need to be doing, not only to have it look good, but also for the fish and for the plants that are going to be in your tank. Because if you ignore that, it's not going to be something you're going to be like proud of. So make sure you're doing the necessary things that you need to be doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, to keep that tank crystal clear, and to have your fish healthy, breeding, and just swimming around in an environment that is absolutely amazing. Now this is now normal, like not cold but not too cold, because I removed the plastic wrap. So also, like, yeah, experimenting. Guys, the thing that makes this hobby absolutely amazing and absolutely interesting is the experimenting. Like trying different things. Like I wanted the lid so that I don't have to be doing water top-ups regularly, so that's why I put like a plastic wrap on it. So make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing, so that your tanks are absolutely amazing, so that your fish as well are just absolutely healthy and absolutely amazing. But anyways, that's it from Namib Aquatic-Scapes, guys. Hope you take care of your tanks, hope you're doing your daily maintenance, and as well as just enjoying the hobby. So make sure you watch this video. It's one of the videos of me actually scaping this tank, the first video we've ever made. So make sure you watch that one. So I will see you guys in the next one. Stay creative, stay aquatic. That's all from Namib Aquatics.